Welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team, and this week a special guest. This week I have with me Ramon.
Yo.
And I also have NHP Shaka, who is joining us again for the third time. Say hello.
Yay! Glad to be back. Thanks for having me on.
Very excited. Yeah, I'm really excited to have you back on because we get to talk about your game a bit more because we were purposely avoiding details when talking about it. But you know, since if you're going to be very comfortable with just laying everything out about this one shot, that would be great because it was really an exciting, game to play through. Especially getting to play some different characters. So we can get into talking about that. First up, I do want to say, though, that this podcast is about tabletop RPGs, our experiences playing them, running them, and, trying to pass along advice to make it a bit easier for people to hop onto the other side of the DM screen, or GM, or whatever the case may be in whatever game you're playing. And, of course, all the social media stuff, but we'll deal with that in the outro. I want to get to talking about this game. So, in the interest of that, let's get to the other very most important part of the show.
Yes.
the Win with Dice weekly GM tip of the week, brought to you by Shaka. I guess you're up for doing it now.
Yeah,
we're nice. On the spot.
Cool, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Tip of the week. Definitely not prepared for this, but I think I recently started watching a Star Wars stream. It's I can't remember what it's called. It's from Fantasy Flight Games, Force and Destiny, kind of expansion to the Star Wars RPG or whatever. And the GM was all about these narrative descriptions. And I had played Genesis for a long time before hopping on the Lancer. And one of the things I forgot, I guess I forgot in the process of playing games for Lancer is the value of describing everything, because Genesis is a very narrative, or the Star Wars system, and Genesis is a really narrative based system, and literally the dice beg you to narrate what happens, and they did a really good job. And I was just gosh, this guy is on all these cool descriptions and blasting. If a player fails, they can get an advantage. They can blast a door or whatever to close it shut and stuff. And I'm damn, Lancer needs some stuff like that. And I definitely I can internalize that and use it for a couple games. I actually think for our last game of the one shot we ran, I tried to describe a few more things. So yeah, the tip is don't forget to describe things, for real. It's definitely in Lancer. It's a game that's very heady. Don't forget to describe things.
Yeah, I think Lancer does give some freedom for that when it comes to at least skill triggers, because they're so narratively named as opposed to being named after the specific skill that they apply to. But yeah, definitely. I'm also kind of wondering how do the mechanics of the Star Wars game work that they lean into that, because I never played it myself. So I was wondering if that's how does that work?
So they have so the dice are broken up to success. Well, there's player dice, and then there's difficulty dice. And the player dice, they include a general success, an advantage, which you can use for multiple things, but mostly it goes to describing how you fail forward. And then there's a triumph, which is rolling a nat 20, but you can feasibly get a triumph more often than you get a nat 20, just because of the percentage chances. I think they use a D12 for it. And it's a huge momentous success or whatever. And sometimes it doesn't always make sense to incorporate that into the mechanics of the game, and doing doesn't, just because you rolled a triumph doesn't mean you did more damage. Maybe it means you did something else super cool and narrative. So the system, the literal dice system, begs you and encourages you to focus more on these narrative benefits rather than oh, I did more damage, oh, I did, I caused you to get exposed or whatever, right? Like how Lancer does. And I just forgot how valuable that and entertaining that was from a viewer's perspective, and I think from a GM player's perspective too, having to think about more creatively about how you're describing your games.
Nice. Yeah, that's really interesting, because there's always the balance of in the crunchy games like Lancer and Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, where you have a balance of you're trying to tell a story, but also you have to get to the other player's turn, right?
Yeah.
There's always that kind of I want to keep the pace of the game, but I also don't want the game to just be a whole we're just throwing math at each other, right?
Yeah, and I forget that a lot in Lancer. It's so tactical and mathy, and you have to use so much of your brain to think about strategy. I think when you're a GM, to make the experience fun for the players, you just don't want to give them like an easy encounter.
And then like in that process, I forget to like narrate things, right? Like one of the players in our Wallflower game, like he has this like Krakatoa thermobaric flamethrower, which is like obviously sounds cool as shit, right? But sometimes I fall into like the old habits of being like, yeah, you hit him. Okay, you hit him. It's like, oh, that's kind of lame.
Man has like a rocket engine strapped to his forearm.
I know.
Just like, yeah, you got him. Good job.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, I gotta do better.
Yeah, totally. I feel like we've all been there. I like those moments where you're getting like into several rounds into combat, and you don't want people just like waiting on their turn, but you want to like move forward through it, but you also got to stop and make sure everything's being described well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I don't know, like games like that, where it's so narrative heavy, I always kind of want to like borrow bits and pieces of the mechanics from, because then you have to find a way to sort of describe how do you succeed at this, how do you like fail at this thing but have a moment of major success. Like if I could nab that mechanic somehow and insert it into other games, I don't know exactly how, maybe measuring degrees of success in some way.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I've never played the Powered by Apocalypse games, but I know like Lancer's narrative part is kind of like Powered by Apocalypse or whatever, and it's very loose and stuff. But I feel like given the complexity of Lancer's like tactical portion, you kind of get into like a groove of like forgetting to why the narrative is important, right? Like I've listened to other like narrative streams for Lancer, and some of the people do forget like the power of like the narrative part or whatever, and I feel like it does need some borrowed mechanics from stuff like Genesis 2 to like empower that narrative, and even the mech combat too I feel like needs a little bit of narrative kind of juice.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like because that's always the case, is trying to make like tactical decisions translate into like big narrative moments where like you feel like you're a big brained smart man but also like a poet. So it's like it's tough. Like
it's hard to blend Sun Tzu and Edgar Allan Poe in one session.
Yeah, right. All with like a D20 roll. You know what I mean? The confines of 1 to 20. Like, what do you? What do you want from us, man?
I know. It's rough.
Yeah, especially with just straight success fail mechanics. It's very because then that's, you don't have a lot of avenues to go down.
Yeah. Well, like the one thing in Lancer is like the narrative portion that is a little that encourages like describing more narrative stuff is like the risky rolls. So, like in narrative combat, you have like you get above a 10, you succeed. You get below a 10, you fail. But then like the GM can make the roll risky, which means if you have to get above a 20 to not suffer the adverse consequences. You still succeed on a 10, but if you don't get it above a 20, that kind of like that whole like mechanism gets the GM to start thinking like, oh, well, how do I like make them fail forward or like fail worse or like that type of stuff. So I like that component of like the narrative roles, but I feel like the other parts need a little bit of help too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I totally get that, because what I want is like, I guess more like, I know that it's so freeform, so you can like tell your own story, but I want like a little bit more structure where it's like, here's more ideas for successes or failures. Or like when I put together in the I think it was the second mission when the Woman Dice crew was kind of going through that base, and I had that narrative section which was a little bit too difficult for them, but I had like a whole list of charts. It's like, which room did you go in, and then like based on the roll, some other complicated tomfoolery will happen, and then the whole situation will like either go their way or just devolve into a whole bunch of Looney Tunes-esque violence, right? So I had a room which was like, oh, you find yourself in the power room, right? And it's like, well, if you mess up this roll, it means that you either shot a reactor or like the thing is starting leaking coolant, so now the whole place is blowing up. And like the very worst result, on top of you taking the oh shit, something bad happened, plus oh god, something else worse has happened. Oh god, the room is now exploding, literally exploding. So, like I want more of like that, but like kind of like broader, because I think they did it a little bit in long rim. Yeah, long rim, right? With like the whole, ships, if you're fighting in a station. Yeah. Fighting in the station, right? So
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
More stuff like that. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I agree.
Maybe there's an opportunity. Maybe we should work on that. Be like a Win with Dice product. Be like,
maybe.
The little comment down below.
I think it'd be so helpful. Yeah, I think it'll be incredibly helpful. I think there are some people who've homebrewed it, but I'm not too like up on like who's done it or who hasn't done it to like really like add more girth to like the narrative in Lancer.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Well, that's your weekly GM tip of the week, folks. Brought to you by Shaka.
I knew you had one in you.
Yeah. Pour it out my ass.
All right, let's get into talking about Kal Tur's Golden Eye. You ran, I think it was 3 total sessions that we ended up doing?
4. We did 4.
Oh, then my math is off.
I think, it was the first session, second session. I think we did 4. Yeah, I think we did 4.
Okay, yeah. It was because we only talked about 2, I think, on the podcast. So this is a good chance for us to get all caught up, essentially, as we were part of the Umfukane. Do you want me to, do the recap here? Or
go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You did it. Yeah.
Because I was wondering, I don't know if it's... I don't know if you want to...
Take the reins. Drive the car, Calvin.
Okay, so we were placed on a small military base located near some Onic space. We were part of the Umfukane, part of the NP order, I believe it was.
Yeah, the NP War Order. Gosh, I think the specific order. You all are part of the Loins Order, which is like the logistical order of the NP War Order. It was, and the specific order within the Loins Order is, I'm going to butcher this, Uthawana, which is it's like an actual order in like Shaka's NP War Order.
Yeah. We were stationed there, sort of. I think we were partially working alongside Union at first, although things did not end up that way. But essentially, we had a man who was sort of in charge position, by the name of Fossey, who was making communications with a researcher named Jafara, who had gone missing. This Jafara person being from the Onic Order. Due to some communication issues involving Shaka, who sent a lovely diplomatic message.
Threats.
Threats. A very caps lock message. And not knowing exactly the cause of Jafara's disappearance, there was sort of like tensions were rising there. Between the Onic and the Union, and there were other players that we soon discovered, like the SSC and Harrison Armory, who were also involved in this situation that was going on, as well as Mbogezini, part of the Chest Order, who was coming in on Shaka's orders to sort of settle things here. So again, we had all these different plates in the air. And we were sort of caught in the middle trying to find out what happened to Jafara, where was he, who captured him, and for what purpose. We discovered it was related to some SSC dealings, but by the time we were able to link back up with the Onic forces, they were under attack by Harrison Armory.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good synopsis there. Yeah, I'm glad that you're able to like tell it so effortlessly, because that to me makes it seem like you guys understood what was, or rather, I communicated what was going on pretty well. Because it was kind of like, it was hard to like, when I wrote this one, it was just kind of hard to like make sure that it was understandable from the players, right? Because like in that first session, you know, I had it was like, I think I talked for like 20 minutes of like a narrative dump of like everything that was going on. And then like after I did that, I didn't feel good. It was like, oh fuck, man, I wish I like gave them a second to like ask questions or like, you know, interject themselves a little bit. I just feel like I dumped a lot of narrative on there, but I guess it came out well because you obviously understood what was going on.
Yeah, no, definitely, like, because the thing with that is that you have to like set up the whole setting and situation.
Yeah,
I feel like the first thing a GM says is probably gonna have to be a lot, because it's not just you responding to something someone's doing. Like, you're literally building the world around them. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't like bounce off someone else's ideas if you're speaking the very first words of the very first sentence of the very first session of the game, right?
Totally, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. I kind of wish there was like a better way to do that. Like in every stream I've seen, like all the GM or the DM always goes like, does this narrative dump. But like, I would honestly appreciate some like collaborative building of like the setting on the front end. So it's not always a GM speaking, because you know, you got like 4 other players or 5 other players at the table. They all have like beautiful and bright minds, and you want to hear what they have to say too. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think that like it would be cool for the very first session to be like everybody kind of like, oh, like maybe not the very first session, but like, yo, what's the weather outside?
Yeah.
Day, like who's in charge, right? Like all that kind of stuff. You know, I asked my players lots of times to give me names because I'm terrible with names. So that's always something I try and rote them into doing. Yeah.
Don't you have a Zelda lake somewhere?
Yeah, we have a Lake Zelda somewhere.
That's what it is.
We have a couple NPCs that are just like, oh, like Lance LaPonce was one of them, which is still one of my favorite NPCs.
Who gave that name?
Lance LaPonce. I think it was our friend Payne. I think they were. Who was it? Who was it based off of? I think it was based off of a Lizzie McGuire character.
Sounds about right.
Oh my god!
It's like that Lizzie McGuire character plus like I forget the name of the candlestick from Beauty and the Beast. It was a fusion of those two characters, right?
Yeah, he was this annoying French guy.
Nice. Lance LaPonce. And then immediately a player was like, oh, I bet I like me. My character and another player's character, his fiance, like we're all from the same village and we have this love triangle. And right?
Don't look at me, yeah.
But like, yeah, right. But his fiance is like, I don't really like any of the 2 boys. The boys just like me and they always fight each other. And like instantly, it was born. Lance is like this snooty Frenchman, and Payne's character is kind of like this gruff, not so smart, tough guy type, right? And I'm always
was born with 2 brain cells.
Yeah, right. So Lance was always just kind of, every time I saw him or talked to him, he just called him an idiot, and then he would bark back, being like, "Well, whatever, you're dumb," with some really bad comeback because obviously he's not that witty.
I'll punch you.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I totally get that. But like, I think that like, I appreciated the dump because I think I wanted to get really ingrained in the setting of being a part of the Infi Warrior and like really trying to like get into this. Also, like, to be honest with you, like even the names, because all of the names are not something I use in my vocabulary so often, right? Like those types of names. So I wanted to actually like hear you say it a whole bunch, or else I would never be able to repeat it because I'm very bad with words.
Very valid, yeah. That's so valid. And that's a good point too, because like I would imagine that most people who play TTRPGs haven't played in a setting that's like so different from like just like typical Western settings, right? Where names you can like easily pronounce and like understand or whatever. And so it was beneficial in that sense to like provide a lot of framing, right? Because this is, I think, so unfamiliar a setting. And beneficial, I think, one, because like for you guys, and two, beneficial for me too, because this is like the second time I've run it. But still, like, running two different games is they're not always going to be the same. So it's like definitely it was helpful for me, even though like I had some reservations about it.
I am kind of wondering though, because you did mention like how you've heard it on different TTRPG shows. Mm-hmm. I do wonder how much of that is also a show thing, if the GM is sort of laying out a lot of the lore. Kind of wondering like how much of that is for the audience more so than the players, because there might be some stuff in like setting stuff in there, especially that players would already be somewhat aware of, depending on the show.
Yeah, that is true. That's a good point. Yeah, that's totally a good point. Yeah, I don't know.
I was gonna say, like, I was just thinking back to like Critical Role, and the beginning of that episode, the very first one of their new campaign, was kind of a while, especially compared to the first episode of their first campaign. But in their first campaign, the players had already been going for a few sessions, and the second one, it was like a new place, so there was a whole lot more description.
Yeah,
especially on like location and history. Oh, yeah,
I remember watching that first episode. God, maybe it was the first or second episode, but I can't remember the GM's her name. But God, you remember her name, Calvin? What's her name?
For
Critical, the second season, right? Matt wasn't GMing, it was someone else.
Yeah, they had their short one shot, Bria.
Oh, Bria. That's a one shot?
Yeah,
I thought it was, okay.
Well, not one shot. It was sort of like, it was 8 sessions, but it was like not a separate thing. It was set in the same world, but it wasn't one of the like overarching several year-long campaigns.
Oh, yeah. Their second,
like a spin-off.
Their second season was in 99. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm a little behind in my Critical Role.
Yeah, so am I, to be honest.
Yeah, so many episodes.
Okay, so yeah, that was sort of the intro of the game. I'm trying to just go back to where we had left off.
Yeah, I think you guys left off at the second session, right? Where you guys ended up taking, you found Jafara. He told you some shit about like, well, we have to go back because he had initially set out to go meet Fossey, which was the Amphitho person, also part of the Takane, that had been working with the On, and he's going to tell Fossey some things, mostly about an evil, diabolical NHP weapon that the On had been cooking up. And he got captured in the process, like you said, by the SSC. And then apparently the SSC and the Harrison Army had been working together. And so Harrison Army launched an attack on the Onic base to recover or destroy, I don't know. You guys killed him before you could figure it out. The NHP.
Yeah. That was sort of the fourth session thing. I'm looking back at where we had been before. We did come across. I really wanted to talk about. I don't know if this is jumping around too much, but I wanted to talk about the Kodumodumo Squad.
Oh yeah,
that sort of interrupted us.
Yeah.
I think this was when we were getting to the Onic base, and we were sort of outside trying to make our way in as Harrison Army was attacking.
Yeah. The third session. Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, those guys. So, like, I think you referenced the Ginyu squad when
poses. Jace, brother.
Ginyu squad 5s.
But I have to be honest, like, because it was 3 of them, and I had just started watching JoJo, like, not too long when we started, I was more thinking of the Pillar Men squad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I had that theme going through my head when they showed up.
I think it's the same thing.
That's also really good.
Same thing.
The Pillar Men.
Yeah, the Kodumodumo Squad. They're like, I was thinking of like, how do I make like a very intimidating like boss sort of entity in the field guide, and I was like, well, how about just make it ultra but spread it across 3 characters? And I was like, yeah, that'd be dope. And then I think I wish I would have done more like narrative stuff when they arrived, and like them cussing at you all and making you all feel like you want to kill them. But I didn't. But it was a cool little mechanic. They had some weird shit going on with them for sure.
Yeah. It was like it was like a game changer for sure. Like I know that we probably dispatched them within like a round and a half or something like that.
You sure did, yeah.
But it was enough for us to be like, oh God, these guys are so strong. All of our attention needs to be on these guys right now.
Yeah.
It was like, if we don't take them out, we're all gonna. It's just gonna like, we're all gonna collapse, and our whole team and everything. Everyone's gonna start going down. So it was like, yes. I think it was super successful, even though you didn't narrate them. Just the fact that they just, smashed down in the middle of our battlefield and was like, "We're here now," and immediately started to kick our ass. Yeah. I was like, "Damn, these guys are strong."
Yeah, it was. They had some busted ass mechanics. Like, I think one of the mechanics of the Kodumodumo Squad is that they can take a turn right after another team member's turn, but once around, it's like a recharge ability. And that was like, that was busted. And then one of their weapons was it's a heavy variable rifle where they gain accuracy by the number of fellow Kodumodumo Squad members who can draw a line of sight to the character. So like, it's like a high damage weapon, kind of like akin to like the sniper's anti-material rifle. Mm-hmm. It's a high damage weapon that is also loading, but like it can definitely just hit you and fuck you up, which I'm glad I got that off, but that was the only time I got it off.
At the time too, we were like pretty shaky. I would say, like, we were like doing okay.
You guys were. Those guys showed up. You guys were doing really well.
What? I would argue that some people were, face first in the dirt. Look at you, Calvin.
Calvin did good. I feel like Calvin got some really good shots off on his death's head. Like you stayed there for a good second, and then. Ramon, you charge off like a moron, or like a brave, reckless abandon. But yeah, you got off way on the other side of the battlefield and like started dealing with some like the back. You killed the Rainmaker. That's what it was. That was dope. I think you killed the Rainmaker.
Yeah. Oh, I immediately. Oh yeah, that was the same encounter where I boosted over that really big. Yep. Line of sight block into raid and got you had an enemy priest, and I just
you killed the priest. You killed the priest. Yeah, because it was a nasty setup. It was a really nasty because I had a Rainmaker, two what are those things called? The ram cannon. The other ram cannon.
Cataphracts.
Cataphracts. Yeah, I had a priest. Yeah. Rainmaker, two cataphracts, and two hives, which is like it's all about moving you into the Rainmaker's like missile barrage or whatever, and the Cataphract could also push people into the Rainmaker's missile barrage, and then the Rainmaker also had like endless range, so I could put down 6 of these things instead of 3. And it was built to like fuck you guys up if you didn't take care of the right characters first. But you guys barely got hit by like the Rainmaker stuff. I feel like, and yeah, you just kind of took care of it pretty well.
Yeah, it's because I was there, like, immediately.
Yeah, you were.
I was like, nope.
I should have, god damn it, I should have put a fucking Demolisher by the Rainmaker and make you think twice.
I know. I would have been so sad. I would have been trying not to get destroyed by that stupid thing, Sammer. But it's good. I was good. I was glad that I was able to get behind enemy lines and actually be effective. Mm-hmm. And then all of my friends kind of got steamrolled a little bit, except for Spike, who is immovable.
Spike did not take any fucking damage. I was like, literally, first session, I was like, all right, I'm gonna hurt Spike because like he's Vlad and he's like think he's all bad. He's got a fucking shotgun. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna hurt you. And then like didn't really happen the first session. I think I exposed him. Second session, he just got slowed down a lot. Third session, he just like was like unhittable. And then the third session, he took on 2 fucking Goliaths with Hellfire projectors by himself. I'm like, what the fuck?
Who is this man?
I know. It was just like, oh shit, the Vlad is so tough.
You know what it is? I think it's because he's like actually a little bit low key. Like,
yes.
I kind of forget how strong Spike is, like as like the Vlad is as a frame, because like
100%.
It's not flashy.
It's not flashy.
He's not flying across. He's not flying across the map. He's not like, giving like a bunch of accuracy bonuses. He's not doing like a bajillion damage in a shot. Like, he's just kind of like tough, sturdy. Just
exactly, yeah.
Kind of just walks up and like, it's nuts. That whole the game really showed me that like I shouldn't be sleeping on.
I know. Vlad is really dope, and it's not like super fast. And all he really did was use Vanguard and shoot people that came close, and anyone that was close enough to take damage from the porcupine spike thing, like just took the damage and like ended up dying.
Yeah, there was like lots of occasions where you kind of swung with somebody with like 1 HP, and it was just like, oh,
yeah. And it happens before too, which makes it so bad.
Yeah. It's like my final last stand.
Yeah. Like the whole structure of it. Like the first encounter, I intended it to be like pretty meat grindy because I had that elite commander veteran. God, what was her name? I can't remember her name, but she was an SSC midnight person. Calvin.
Shani Lisa.
Yeah, Shani Lisa. Yeah,
Queen Crab.
Yeah, she had the Incala. Yeah,
I remember her.
Yeah, she had the Incala, and that thing is like if it grabs you, bad things happen. But I could never really get off a hit. Really, like I think I tried to hit you, Ramon, and you like dodged a couple times. Oh, you braced and like got out of the grapple or whatever. And yeah, it's like it wasn't as meat grindy. And then the second encounter, it was more like figure out the puzzle, like take out the Bombards on round 2, and then you win the game pretty much. And the third one was just kind of like maybe I intended that one to do a lot of damage and just kind of wear you down before the fourth encounter, which was I think a mix between. It was like kind of high damage output, but not so much.
Yeah, there was like a lot of positioning. I think that like overall, like the final encounter did really feel like a boss battle encounter. Actually, they all kind of felt a little bit of boss.
Yeah,
maybe not the road with the bombard. That one kind of felt like on your way to something. But like honestly, I think once you started, I think it's like the characters, right? You always kind of had a linchpin kind of person to be like that's the leader. They're actually the things that's like everything's scary, but those guys are like really scary.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Yeah, I feel like I dropped the ball a little bit on the fourth encounter because I didn't have any like named characters. It was just like there was like the narrative scene, which is kind of I was using that as like the culmination stuff because you reach the Onyx base and you try to figure out things, but you guys got stopped by a door, which is probably like a fault on my end because like fucking door.
That door.
After that session, I was like, why did I not just let them shoot it down? That was so stupid.
Hey man, I didn't know what I was gonna say. I was like, I guess that's where it ends. The door defeat with the greatest lances.
Yes. I don't know why. I was like, because you guys did bring a thermal charge and like you missed the roll to break down the door twice, and I was just like, oh well, I guess you guys just gotta turn around. That was my fault. That was my fault.
Yeah, no. I think it was our fault for not bringing a thermal charge. I can honestly tell you how many characters actually carry thermal charges because I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to be a door we got to blow up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely none of us. Half of us, I think, were on vacation.
Exactly.
From what they said. Someone brought like a hammock. And, like,
exactly.
Like
I got a pair of scissors.
Like,
Can I cut the door? Yeah. I think in retrospect I would have allowed that to happen because I feel like that would have been like a good like culmination point before like the final assault by Harrison Armory on the base. But yeah, I think in the end it kind of came out well. And then I guess my question to you guys is like, what do you think about the whole thing after like going from the start to finish? What are your thoughts?
Like overall, or just for the last session?
Oh, just overall, yeah.
Well, yeah. So it was sort of like an introduction, just getting to meet some of the, I guess, like characters in the world. Well, characters and terms in the world of the Umfukane, which was kind of a bit easier to learn than just reading it in some places. Like it actually just being like part of that thing. But again, in terms of like just playing another Lancer game, for me, it was like learning a new character, learning more about the system, just feeling my way around it a bit more, getting a bit more used to how the mechanics of the game works. Story-wise, I would really like to keep playing this because I really want to tug on some certain story threads that are still hanging loose out
I'm so glad you said that because I need to. Please play with me. I thought it was really cool too. Like I after our session, I was like, man, like I already know what the next 3 missions would be. That would be so dope to like play that, continue it.
I want to find Queen Crab.
Oh yeah,
I can fix her. I know it.
She escaped with someone. Oh yeah, she ended up escaping with Jafar.
Cowards.
Yeah.
All these cowards everywhere. At least Sweet Song went out like a man.
Ramon's
Yeah, right.
Ramon's like, sit down and take this one hike. And you're gonna like it.
Yeah. You deserve this. No, yeah, man. I had tons of fun. I think it was cool to kind of feel. I think that like most, I guess, Lancer stuff is like Union is typically the good guy in the scenario, right? And it was kind of nice to be like sitting, I guess, as like a third party and like actually like fighting Union. I would like realizing that like, yeah, Harrison Armory and SSC aren't separate entities. They all are part of Union. So like, you know what I mean? And it was pretty cool to get that kind of feel for it. And also a little bit of feel for like the Onyx people. I think you did a really good job.
Appreciate it.
It's like what I like what I envisioned what the Onyx people are in my head is kind of like how you portrayed them.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, yeah, this is great.
Nice.
You know, it helped me. Yeah.
I'll just caveat that by saying I have read nothing of the On other than what's in the core rule book. So I mean, I think I said that someone told me on Uko Station that On had like mental powers, and I gave Jafar like some mental powers. I think I can't remember, but yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, he had like some telepathy.
Yeah, like some like brainiac type shit.
And I was like, yo, that's dope. I'm down with that. That's why they're happy.
Yeah, exactly. The character's second brain.
Yeah, right. And honestly, I had a good time. Even like playing with the story a little bit. I knew it was like it was funny because it was like a one shot. Like, but like I felt like all our narrative decisions it was worth me sitting down and being like, shit, I have to like, you know, what do I actually want to do here? Because there was tons of there was like, you did a good job about the NPCs, even like that. At the very end, we had a talk with like a veteran soldier,
him.
Right? And I didn't want to let that guy down, but ultimately we're on opposing sides, and I was like, damn it, man. Like it hurt. It hurt a little bit. And like, you know, Jafar, you know, it felt like we spent so much time with Jafar, and I really felt for that guy trying to do his best, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah, because like he totally could have died. Like in the second encounter, like he took a shot from Bombard, and like he got reduced to like 2 health or something like that, because I think Joel put like on the group saying like put overshield on him, but otherwise if he didn't have overshield, he would have died. And you totally could have lost that narrative string, right. And I was completely fine with him dying because it wasn't essential to the story, but I feel like it did help the narrative a little bit that he did survive.
Yeah, no, it made me feel like, so the story for me was like we were protecting Jafar so he can go and fix the problem with his people, right? Like his people's having. Like to us, it was like Jafar was like the reason why we were doing the thing that we were doing. I felt like really, I don't know, not like connected with them, but it felt like a stronger connection to the overall plot. So I'm glad that he survived, because I think the game was probably would have been fine, but like I think I enjoyed it way more when there was like, I actually liked the person we were trying to protect a little bit. You know, I vibe with characters of being like, no man, I gotta go do this and help everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to make a likable character. Like Jafar was supposed to be very likable. Momo Ginzani was supposed to be slightly unlikable. Fossey was just like indifferent because he's like not that like important, just kind of like the mission giver. And then Queen Crab or Shining Lisa, I debated that one because I feel like she definitely had a reason for being there. So, like she had done all this like past work. Working for Union and working for SSC to research the On and make sure they're not doing bad shit. And then this was the culmination of her journey. And I don't know. I think that's like a narrative bit that I would be excited to in like future sessions to like let you guys determine whether she's bad or good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Talon is just like, I've been where you are before and I can get you out of there. But you have to want it, and if you don't, I mean, I'll do what I have to do, but I'm giving you a choice here. At least that's probably along the lines of what she'll say if they ever run into each other again.
I think definitely.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like the idea that Talon is like a grizzled veteran. Is like, listen, kid, it doesn't end out the way you think it's gonna end. Trust me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was totally down with that. Yeah, and like I was a little sad because Moon Ginzini, like he was a little scary at first.
I'm in trouble. He's like, I'm in trouble. Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like to me the biggest thing was like, man, I can't look bad in front of these chess dudes, or else it'll just piss me off. So it's like actually you lit a fire underneath Duke's ass specifically.
Oh, okay, nice.
My motivations when the kids gave a shit because Queen Crab like escaped, and I was like, all right, never again. Like,
and then like the fourth session when he came back asking for help, like nicely, I was like, it must be really bad.
Oh, so bad. Oh my god, so bad. That was the other encounter, right? Like the split was like on the encounter 2 when you guys had to either help Momo Ginzini take down the HA flying claymore, or like help Jafar. You guys didn't have Jafar, but like the split to go help Momo Ginzini, it was a much harder. Well, I would, much. It was a harder encounter, but you got a short rest like a full rest or whatever. Like the route you guys went, you didn't get a full rest, but it was a much like the encounter design was much harder, and the last players didn't make it through. So. Ooh.
Well, I mean, now I kind of feel like, Actually, what was like the team? Was the team? Okay, so like I know you've actually run a lot more Lancer games than me, and like for lots of different people. Like, how do you find like when people choose characters? Right? Do people actually fall into towards like archetypes like they would normally do in like a fantasy setting? Or is it like, you'll get like 3 of the same dudes? Like, that's like, everybody had the same idea.
Let me see. And when I ran Lancer in person, like 2 years ago or whatever, and I didn't really understand the game that much. I think the players did fall into archetypes. I had a Death's Head player. I had what's the SSE mech that like is like disappear, pop up, Nightcrawler type shit? You guys got that? Morning Cloak? No. Yeah, Morning Cloak. Yeah, Morning Cloak. I had a Morning Cloak, a Sherman, and one more. And they fell into archetypes of like one person's artillery, one person's like hack the shit out of you, and one person's like melee or whatever. So like that was pretty clear cut. I guess the other instances probably just Wallflower, because like when I run games on Oko Station, it's just like whatever, people just bring whatever they want because it's not about like team coordination, it's about just going in and having a good time or whatever. But on our Wallflower game, I think we're on like 13 episodes now, the players have gradually fallen into like their roles. Except we have 2 artilleries and we have 2 like go get 'em melee attack players, so we're like front line players. So I guess with time, things kind of the roles developed. I think in you guys' circumstance, I kind of felt the roles culminating. Duke, I feel like run like your character was like obviously like I'm gonna run out in front and get hit first and probably go down first, but I'm gonna take everyone with me. But I couldn't, and I guess Joel was like obviously support too, sort of. But then I couldn't quite place you, Calvin, and like God, what's his name? Spike. I can't remember his real name, but yeah, Spike's character. I couldn't like quite place you guys' roles.
For Corey?
Yeah, Corey. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was aiming for I was aiming for the sniper kind of thing.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Because that was how I was building Lancer characters at the time. Like for the stream, it was like, well, I haven't done a grappler character yet, so what frame works with that? And for this, it was like I haven't done a sniper yet, so what frame works with that?
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
And then I was trying to like maximize that.
You were doing a lot of like all that shit. God, your Death's Head's so complicated.
Yeah. That's why I was worried because one of the Kodumodumo Squad they handled barrage from me pretty well, and I was like,
"Oh yeah,
you're still here. That's not supposed to happen."
Yeah,
I was at high heat at the time, and then it was like,
"Oh yeah,
wait a minute."
I think it was I think you may have shot the assault, and they did hunker down. I can't remember, but yeah, they were just regular NPCs, other than just having like the template of Kodumodumo Squad. So like they had like they didn't have more than like one structure, but yeah, they had some weird shit.
Like, what else can we say about the? I mean, I really liked that one hazard from the last encounter.
Oh yeah.
Those tentacles that would reach up from the ground. I don't want to spoil too much about it, like the cause of them, or I mean, I don't know.
You can spoil it. I didn't explicitly like list that into the like the one-shot guide or whatever. I just like made that up because I was like, you know, how am I gonna like make this more bossy or whatever? And I was like, oh, well, yeah, maybe it makes sense, like, you know, have these tendrils pop up from the ground, and I thought that was cool. But yeah, I think you guys missed it for the most part. I don't think anyone really got hit.
We got hit once, and then you mentioned like, oh, by the way, if you get closer to the center, right, where you're supposed to protect anyway, you won't get hit. So then we all kind of like, okay, thank God, like let's just all run to the center. Oh, actually, to be fair, it was like crazy good timing because immediately right after you told us that, you had the Goliaths with the Hellfire Protector show up, and then immediately I was like, damn.
That was my plan. I was like, I'm gonna burn you alive. They went down so quick, though. I'm like, I feel like in 2 turns. They have 25 HP, and they went down so quick. I was like, oh, God damn it.
Again, I think it was because, again, you scared us, right? Like, it was like, we were all like, how do we kill these things the fastest? So, you know, it's the only safe spot on the map, and we're like, we gotta get these guys out of here.
Yeah, apparently the plan is just apply spike directly to the enemy.
Just throw a spike at it.
Just eat him over there.
Well, Calvin, your character almost died. You got like a custom paint job roll, and you're on one structure left, and you had almost lost your last one, but you rolled a 6 on your custom paint job to stay alive, which is clutch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was I was genuinely, because it's been a while since I've had one of my characters die. And I have killed several player characters in that time. Like 3 or 4.
Oh damn.
So yeah, so I was like, oh no. This is what I've been doing.
Were you scared at that moment? Or like, well, your character was gonna die, like your mech was gonna blow up, but like, were you like, what were your thoughts too when I was gonna
because I was like, I got really into the character. I wanted to see what she would do next in whatever other situation might come up for her. And I know that like these guys were not afraid to kill mech pilots. Definitely like if the mech went down, very likely means the pilot's gonna go down with it. So yeah, I was pretty worried, especially coming into that last battle. More so after the tentacles popped up, I was like, okay, I gotta remember what those things were.
I thought that was cool.
Because I had to be in a pretty awkward position with regards to like where I could shoot and where buildings and stuff were and where other people were. But I was like, I can't risk getting hit.
Ramon, you kind of got out that encounter, that last one, pretty okay, because you went all the way to the right, and then I brought in 3 NPCs, a Scour and 2 others, that Hornet and something else. And I felt like you felt like I was just going to attack you the whole time, and I was like, nah, he'll probably die. So I just like, I went a couple past you, and I tried to attack everyone else.
Yeah. I definitely felt like I was gonna get, because I was surrounded, right? I was like, I would have shot like I would totally shot myself. Like I was like, nice. What an idiot. Like,
well, I felt a little guilty because I didn't tell you guys where the reinforcements were coming. I was like, oh, that'd be unfair if I just like gang this dude right now.
I mean, I definitely would have. That's just because I'm a little ruthless. Well, to be fair, like I had plans to like brace, and like I had a bunch of ways to get a bunch of difficulties, so I was kind of like, writing it out, being like, okay, I probably won't die, but I'll definitely get like messed up pretty hard. Yeah. Right. But I think you were like, I gotta focus on the mission.
That's what it was.
So,
That's what it was. I was like, these guys want to extract information or extract whatever. So I was like, they're probably not worried about this reckless abandoned pilot. Let's turn the NOS up to 10. Turn on the NOS, bro.
Right, you know. Dude,
yeah,
for life.
That's what was dope. The Hornets did fuck you up a little bit in the first encounter, because like the jamming stuff. You got jammed twice over the whole mission. You got jammed in the first encounter, you got jammed in the second, in the last encounter, which was like not cool. But yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun. And like you could also slow me and stuff too, and I was just like, or impair me too, and I was just like, I hate these things. Yeah, turns out Celeste was right. Hornets are really
Yes,
strong.
yes,
Like,
hornets are
Right?
strong. They're mean. They're very mean.
yeah, they're so mean, and why do they have to make
They are
something
my
so
favorite
ridiculous? Yeah, always have a Hornet on board. It'll make
Yeah,
it
and
issue.
go
It's
ahead.
like I think it.
Yeah,
No, you
I
go
tried to
ahead.
I tried because like I read Celeste's guide and I was like, all right, I got to combine the Goliath with the Hornet, but like I messed up and put them on two different sides of the battlefield, and I was like, oh fuck, like God damn it, plan's over. Because like the Goliath can like do the pound the ground type thing, and it makes you do a save, but if you're impaired, it's like a lot worse or whatever.
Oh yeah. I know. Definitely, I'm gonna do the one to like impair a character and then just punch him into the stress.
Yeah.
With, like, the Goliath's power
Team
punch.
Rocket's crossing up again.
That's all I want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm pretty sure it was really funny. I think one of Dragon Kid's, I guess his series running the mech. He had a Goliath and he tried really hard to punch him into space. Like just kept rolling really low or whatever. They kept rolling really high.
It feels the
I
worst.
felt so bad
That is
for
the
him.
worst because like it's like a recharge ability. I feel like, and it's just like if you don't get it up one time, it's like God, it sucks.
Yeah. It's also so exciting.
know,
And flashy.
I know.
Like, come on, man. I want just let me punch you. Like,
But it's still kind of fun though, because like all those like cool like setups you can do as a GM with like the NPC composition, seeing them defeated by the players is like, I think for me it's uniquely rewarding in Lancer because like the thought you put into like the battle composition and seeing how the interesting choices that the players make to defeat the NPCs, I think is really cool.
yeah. At least for me, all of your encounters felt really strong, as in like for the setup, and like I always felt like if I like it was like every decision I made or whatever, it was like important, right? It didn't feel like I was just kind of going through the motions. It was very much like I was on my toes. Like I knew that Duke was fast enough to relatively get to anywhere on the battlefield, but I can only be at one place. I can only be at one place, one turn, right? So it's like, where do I go, right? What is the priority right now, and how do I, make sure that you shoot me and not my friends?
Yeah. Did you guys feel like you had any misplays during the whole mission?
Maybe. I think there were some kind of brace situations maybe where I should have just taken it on the chin instead of bracing, because the following turns very limited me, and then I think after like it's hard, and like I think that like there are systems to take advantage of it, like but still it is kind of one of those things where it's like I don't know, man.
Exactly.
Right. If you brace, sure, you're fine, but now everyone can just run past you and
well, it
shoot
makes
all
it
your
kind of
friends.
easier for the Nelson because you can brace and still like skedaddle like pretty easily, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I think that honestly, like whenever I see like all of the brace systems that like work with it, I always love it because it's like it turns a very I guess unfavorable thing you have to do to being like, okay, it makes it a little bit better, because at least like it's harder for you to get hit afterwards. It stops people from like punching you into space or whatever. Like you can really, because like obviously if your NPCs doing that to the Nelson is because they're right in their face, and you kind of just don't want to not be right in their face, right?
No, totally.
Yeah, I think it's
because like the first time you braced, that was I think the most critical one, because you were grappled, and oh my God, Ramon, I would have fucking heat gunned the shit out of you if you didn't get out of that grapple. But you braced and got out, and I was like, well, that seems kind of broken. But I was like, whatever.
and then I attacked you and still moved. You're like, what? Yeah. Nelson 2 OP. I can still attack and move. It's like I still have 2 actions. It's so funny. But yeah, I also liked that. Oh man, the most powerful weapon in the game is a Pointy Stick.
Fucking warpipe, dude. Right before. And there's a couple scenarios. I don't remember what exactly happened, but you did it to me twice. And the second time I forgot you did it to me the first time. But I would try to move away, and then you would follow me or some shit. I forgot what happened. Like, do you remember what happened? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's because you triggered. So you trigger Overwatch, right? Which is a skirmish, which then worked with Skirmisher Talent 2, which says, before or after an attack, I get to move. And because I had perpetual momentum, it also said before and after an attack, you get to, or after an attack or whatever, you get to move. So you would try and move, I would attack you and just get in front of you.
Because I was like, in my head, I was like, oh yeah, I can just like take this reaction and just like run away, and then you like fucking stick to me like glue. I was like, god damn, Nelson's really strong.
Yeah, Mumun Ginzi really got me mad. And I was like, no one shall ever run away from me again. I was like,
not today.
It's like, I am done with this shit.
Yeah. All in all, though, man, I had a lot of fun running for you guys, and I think it was cool to see all like the cool ways you guys reacted to this setting, and I would love to continue it in the future for sure, 100%.
We gotta find an excuse to do that again, because I really want to follow the adventures of Talon a bit further. I don't know. Is there anything else we want to cover for the game, for the last session, or for any of those combats? I don't know if you want to talk about like building encounters for a one shot and then writing that out, like how you feel you should communicate, like how the combat should work, or anything like that.
I think let me see. I'll probably speak from like what I thought was the best encounter in the whole mission. I think was the second encounter. I think it was the best encounter. Like think from like the narrative descriptions of the NPC mechs, and just like how like the addition of the 2 bombards, like I think made you guys feel as far as like the complexity and difficulty of the encounter. I think that was the best one, and I think the other ones kind of trailed after that one. And I think the first encounter was probably the second best one, and then the third encounter, and then the fourth encounter was probably not. It wasn't bad, but like it was. I think it was as well designed as like the second one, because the second one was good. I feel like it had like a mean ass NPC that did some mean shit that you guys were like, I have to kill this cat, and also like when you guys, it had like the barricade that slows you guys down. Your whole mission was like, it was an escort mission or whatever, so you had to get to the other side, but had these NPCs that would slow you guys down that were pretty hardy, and their sightlines were really blocked and stuff too. So you guys mentioned a little bit this in one of your videos, your recap videos, but yeah, I feel like that second encounter was really dope. And then I think to build a really good encounter, I think it's whole. In whole, it's starting with like the sit rep, right? And then building a good map, and then finding NPCs who take advantage of the sit rep and the map. And I think it really came to a culmination in the second encounter. Yeah, and you guys like, it wasn't too hard to where you guys like couldn't beat it, because you definitely like in the end, when you look at like your mech repairs and all that stuff, like you guys came out like pretty good, but it just felt really hard.
Yeah, like it was tense, right? It was like, I think we need to dismantle this puzzle like in the right order, or else it's gonna be really bad for us, right? I think it was for me. I wasn't like, I was kind of glued to the screen. I was like, oh god, I tend, for me as a player, like I'm definitely the tactical guy. So like I give suggestions. I try to make sure that like I'm not butting into other players' turns, but also like I want to win.
Yeah. Right? I definitely got that. I definitely got that.
So, I've definitely like let me give you some suggestions, because I think I ran the numbers a little bit, and right, so I guess I'm like the play caller, right? I would say, but. Yeah, I felt like for me being that kind of person, the second encounter definitely had me glued to the screen. I was like, and everybody else's turns, I was counting at squares. I was actually, thinking about like their weapons ranges, and it's like, okay, if I'm here, they can handle this. I need to go over there and do that. because and I thought there was lots of moments. The second encounter for sure in that roadway when the Bombard showed up and did that barrage on Gafara, and I was like, shit, right? It really did, like, the fact that he survived was almost like, as I know Bombards aren't hard to hit, right? But it still was like, I still had to roll above like a 10 or whatever, like, just did 50-50 twice, right? Like that was basically what it came down to on the dice rolls, and I was like, shit, I could just not.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. And you guys were down with one player too, because like Spike was stuck in the mud, really. Like the barricade threw down the drone or whatever that slowed him down. So it
was so critical that I did not miss those two shots, right? And I found there was lots of moments in every encounter where it was like, if I don't do this, this will be bad for everyone. Yeah. Right. There's some moments where Talon had to make the shot. Talon didn't make the shot. Like, we're all dead.
Talon got damage. Like, no pressure. Like, I think your damage was way more noticeable than Spike's, but you threw down a lot of fucking damage. Like, with all those shots. God. And I couldn't really stop you because you were so far back.
Yeah.
I definitely still feel like there's more for me to figure out, especially like the mark for death mechanic. Just because it feels like it's such a pain to set up that like I feel like I'm missing something in how to use it effectively. But it was really that. I mean, that's one of the things I like about this game is how every mech frame feels different. Every mech frame has its own like specific advantages. Like it can do something that no one else can do. So I was in this position where, like, because of the frame I chose and the way I built it, like I could just set up all these things, line up all my targets, and then do a real big boom. And then whatever's on the other end of it, like, probably not going to have a really good day after that.
It was beads of sweat on my end whenever you would do your turn. Because one, I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. And two, I'm like, I knew in the end was pretty bad.
It was the same.
You were like, I'm going to activate the crack shot. And I'm like, what is going on?
I was looking at CompCon more than Foundry when we were playing, because CompCon will like label, here's the 5 different things that affect this one weapon. So I was like, okay, this and this and this and this, and don't forget the +1.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to see you guys play and stuff. But the second encounter, as far as like encounter design, I think was the hallmark of the tactical aspect from the whole one shot for sure.
Yeah, man. I also like that there was a cliff of Doom. I would say it was like equal opportunity cliff of Doom, right? So I was like, "Ooh, yes, let's push some dudes off." But then it was like, my friends could be pushed off.
I was hoping one of you would go over there. My plan there was to knock you off with Bombard Cannon because it does a little bit knockback. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna shoot them when they're next to the edge and knock them off." But obviously, you guys did not get too close.
I love it so much.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Gravity doesn't discriminate.
What do you did you guys get to check in with Corey and Joel to see what they thought about it?
Not as of yet. I mean, actually, Ramon, I don't know if you've had conversations with him about it.
I've had conversations with him because Corey lives with me, so I talked to him all the
I was gonna
time.
say, like, I haven't, but like, oh yeah, you two live in the same house.
Yeah. For sure, they had tons of fun. We talked about, again, like we mentioned before, how really good the Vlad is, and we were talking about how Corey actually has like so much
18.
HP compared to the rest of us, and he literally 18 on top of like the overshield too, on top of him having armor, like it was literally like running up against a wall, I think, and he skated off so fine. And we talked about how actually I think it's genius that Corey had a anti-material rifle that he actually kept firing.
He fired it when he needed it too. And I the first time he fired was the first encounter. I think the second time was like the third encounter. It was like strong both times.
Yeah, it was like, oh man, I thought it was very funny. He definitely said that specifically that you were very surprised every time he did it, even though he did it last week. he never reloaded it. He only took the shot when he needed to, and I think that's like,
it is really cool.
I guess it's pretty cool because it's like, covering his bases. He's not so slow, but he definitely is like trying to move up and be in the fray. But sometimes it's like you just gotta take that shot right across map.
But when your utility piece is a fucking range 20 and like armor piercing weapon that does a lot of damage, like that's pretty good. Like you don't need it to do damage, but like it can do a lot of damage, which is like I learned a little bit from like mech building from Corey's setup for sure.
Oh yeah, because like his built to operate within that range 3, range 4 kind of deal, right? So yeah, and also I mean, I think we both talked about how like we both had like one-shot weapons, essentially like loading weapons, because I was like, I think I can really take care of one character at a time, like honestly. But like if there's a group of people, it's like I don't know if I like Duke can do with it. So I was like, yeah. Here, take a missile rack.
Exactly.
Because I'm only going to shoot it once. So let's
you brought one missile rack or two,
right? So it was one missile rack, one.
RPG. Okay.
RPG. Yeah, RPG. Yeah, because they're both blast weapons and they're both 10. And it was just enough to give me an extra bit of stuff when there's like 2 people close together. I can just set it off. But yeah, and I think Joel had a good time. I hadn't talked to him too much about it, but I think he had a good time doing the Groot slang. I think the Groot slang is a crazy good support.
If Joel had gotten not Black Thumb, Rodeo. What's the one where you could like hop outside of your mech? Is it Black Thumb?
Yeah, that's Black Thumb. Yeah, but the thing is called Rodeo.
If he had Black Thumb, so the Groot slang lets you fire an adjacent character fire its weapon and then also reload it in some cases too. And like you could have 2 turns, like your pilot's turn where you're loading the Groot Sane's weapon and firing it, if it's activated its core power, and then doing so much fucking damage. It's pretty nasty, but I think he did good on it. I think I felt like he kept trying to be like that up and close striker, which not striker, but like that big damage dealer, which isn't necessarily its role. But yeah. For sure. I found that it's actually more successful if someone else fires the big gun. Yes.
Yeah. Which was pretty funny because I think he just really wanted to be in the field, like in the fray
shitter.
too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He wants to be up there with us, and but
no, you can't play with this. Slow. Find your own sandbox.
Yes. Get out of here.
I mean, I felt safer near him because I was staying back too. So I'll just hide behind this big building-sized snake.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, the overshield thing was pretty dope. We really utilized the fact that we could fire his gun, especially when we got an NPC on board who could use a part of their turn to reload the gun.
Oh yeah, that was nasty. That was nasty. Forgot that happened. I was like, oh yeah, that's fucked up. I was like, I have to kill this guy now.
It was so funny too, because I'm pretty sure at one point it was like, because Calvin could fire the gun the best, Joel will spend his turn to make sure that he's in position to use it. Calvin had to, Talon had to sit there and be in the spot, and then basically it was just like a artillery like firing squad. Like all 3 of you were shooting this gun like at the same time. Like that's what every turn, just round after round, pumping, Mfakane's hand into people.
It's a mean gun too. I mean, it's loading, but like it benefits. Like it's okay when it activates its core power, other people can reload it. And it's like line 10 and it does like a decent amount of damage, and it creates like a blast 2 zone of burn stuff. Like it's pretty nasty. It's
good. It's very good. The burn came up a lot.
It did. Actually. And I forgot it a couple times too.
Yeah, there was moments where we're like, oh man, this dude's at like 1 HP, and we're like, don't worry, the burn will get him.
Because it's kind of like if you do the math, it's like you can have an ox mount, and like we'll say like the ox mount, the most damage you're gonna do is maybe like 6 damage or 8 damage if you hit with both weapons, because it's probably like 1d3 plus 1 or whatever, right? But like the Groot Sane's weapon, you fire it, you can do 2 burn to multiple characters that start their turn in there, and then 2 burn can like multiply over turns, right? And so it kind of the group slate only has one mount, but it can act like it has many mounts with like that one weapon.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because that's always the thing too with support mix, right? It's like because you only have one weapon, it feels almost like if you're shooting your gun, you're not doing the thing that you're good at.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I think it's like when you do fire that gun, it like counts. Right?
It does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wonder if he would want to play it again too. Like if we continue it, right? Like I wonder if he would stick with the Groot Sling or go with something else.
I don't know. I mean, I know that if I'm gonna play a support character, I think I might play the Groot Sling. That thing's awesome.
Oh my god, yeah, that'd be dope.
Fun. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. We got to schedule something out. We got to figure something out.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Especially because I've been streaming again, or like on other days, so it's like I don't know when it'll be, but I really want to like keep going with this because I've been really enjoying these characters, and I want to see more of whatever their dynamic shakes out to be.
I'd be down doing like 2 more missions and then like adding some good like narrative bits in there. I think that would be like a good like amount of time.
Yeah, and we did Umbogezinis survive? I remember we were sent to recover him. I don't know if we found that out.
Y'all gotta,
or if that's just a future thing. Okay.
Yeah, the three things I want to like double back on are finding out what the fuck Shani Lisa did with Jafar, as she flew away in a Hornet that she had or whatever, like one of her allies had, and then finding out what happened to Umbogezinis crash to Sagai War Corvette, and then the last one is finding out what the fuck is going on with that crazy NHP. Like so presumably like the building crash and everything rubble blah blah blah, but who knows what's deep down in there in those haunted caverns. So those are like the 3 plot points I want to like go chase after.
Oh yeah, I think it was the hallmark of a good mission where it was like at the end of it we're like, damn, I want to keep playing, right?
Nice. Nice.
Even though we resolved something, but it felt like shit. There's always like, you just want to kind of keep going with the story, which is pretty dope. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I wonder if I don't know. I don't think anyone. Well, I mean, at least I don't know. Like, if anyone else has run it and stuff, because I wonder what they would like, how they would kind of go about it. Because like the narrative stuff that I provide, it's pretty loose. It's pretty loose for like how people would run it. So yeah, I wonder what they would do too. So who knows?
Yeah, I know. I think that's like the two. Because I always wonder. Because I know that I know you've asked for my notes for the One with Dice stream.
Yeah,
those missions, right?
Us. Yeah.
Right, but like my notes suck ass because I'm weak, and like I will like not write anything down and come up with everything like on the spot and be like, or like have everything all over the place. But like in terms of like writing stuff for Lancer for a DM to kind of take with it, do you like? What do you advise? Like, do you want to like go into like as much detail as like Celeste, where it's like, okay, these are the things I think that would work for the NPCs, and this is kind of how the game plan is, or would you go from like, generally these are what these people are about, here's some suggestions, and then you could figure out the actual details. Like, what scale? Where are you with that?
I don't think I'm on Celeste's level. I think they do a really good job of what they do because they have like a honest to goodness like talent with that stuff, like thinking about the structure of like encounters and with the purpose of NPCs. I'm more along the lines of like how Tom and Gale did Wallflower. Like they gave like a general NPC kind of breakdown, and you can see some like synergies between the group, and I'm kind of just like that. Like, yeah, I mean, if throw it down on a battlefield that's conducive, and throw on some suggested NPCs and let them play it out. I don't too much worry about the tactical part of it, but like the narrative buildup, I think I do worry about a lot.
Yeah, right. Like the escalating situation. Like how do you get your players to jump into that fire, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because I feel like the some of the issues with an issue, at least when I've run Lancer in the past for like Roku Station games, is that people end up not really caring about the battle because it just seems like very like tactical or whatever. Like maybe some people like that, but like without like that narrative foundation, sometimes people just kind of like, you can hear it in their voices. They kind of give up, like, I'm just gonna do this, or like I'm just gonna do that, and that's what I don't like. I really don't like that, and I think it's all on the GM to like really provide that betting for the context around people's decisions that they make in combat.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that, but then you said it. Okay, I feel like if we keep talking, we're gonna talk for another hour.
Yes, forever.
As much as I mean, I'm so torn. Like in the moment, I want to keep going, but then it's like, oh no, I'm gonna have to edit this later.
Well, you just gotta, we're just gotta continue the game, and then that's it. We're good.
Just hunker down and edit for 10 hours.
When's winter start in Ontario? It starts like what, in a month or something like that?
I mean, depends on what the weather wants to be. Sometimes we'll be at the beginning of November and be like, oh yeah, it's totally warm still. Or like, the beginning it's like, halfway through September and like you might see some snow. So it really kind of like depends. But right now we're in a good place. We're in a nice fall weather. Summer was hot as balls, and now it's cool enough to being like the nights are finally cool again.
Yes.
The day's still pretty warm, so it's a happy place, and I want to ride this as long as possible.
Nice. Yeah, I'd be down to continue it. I don't know for you guys. I could do it sooner too, but like I think when winter starts, that's like, it's like too cold to go outside. So like in Minneapolis, winter starts around, or the first snow is usually in October. So like maybe like November, somewhere around there, I'll have enough written out to like continue it and stuff and be super into it, because like literally I can't go outside, so.
No other option than to play games with your friends.
Must play games. Troll too much.
You have no choice but to have fun.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, but if we do that, we'll for sure talk about it on the podcast.
Oh, for sure, yeah. We should stream it. Stream the game.
Yeah, we could totally do that. I've definitely gotten better at streaming like more visual stuff, so yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah, you guys' last, before we leave, your last mission was so good. Like, I thought it was just really good, because like Ramon at the end when you like put the like the explosion and on like the screens and stuff, I was like, man, that's so dope. I was like telling my girlfriend, I was like, look at this, baby, like this is cool. She obviously did not. She didn't care. She didn't care.
That's okay. I totally understand that. I'm pretty sure I told my wife, and she was like, "Good job. I'm glad." Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I had a blast running it, and I didn't know. I think I came up with the drop for assault grunts appearing. Actually, to be fair, I got that from you. Right before the end for Calvin Kills Me about extending the time of this podcast.
Sorry,
go for it.
It was during one of your Wallflower games. I think you had some trucks. Were driving around, and then when your players killed the trucks, like there was like an Avenger that popped out.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, that's so strong. Like, he's like, you killed my truck.
Yeah, that was broken as fuck. Though I will not do that again. The Avengers specifically, but I think the assault grunts were cool.
Yeah, like so. I think I might throw more. I feel comfortable throwing lots of assault grunts at folks now, because apparently they can handle it very well.
Yeah,
and
that was scary.
It gives something. Yeah, it gives something for Magenta to shoot at. That guy is too strong.
fucking Barbarossa.
It is a strong mech. It is tough to deal with, and I really, really like that character.
Yeah, I like him too. I like his attitude about like everything. Okay, well, I will be sure to below include a link to the Lancer playlist if anyone wants to check it out, as well as links to the Field Guide to Unfukane on itch.io, where you can go and pick that up. And it has the LCP file, so you can put it in CompCon, which you should 100% be using if you're playing Lancer. I honestly don't know how anyone could like get by in
Seriously.
the game without it.
Seriously.
Because it is just like, it's not only just like the mech building, but the compendium. Like I have just like a few tabs of that open all the time because I'm always like, oh, I forget what this particular status does or what particular actions I have, and I can just like refer back to that. And it's such a useful tool, and I don't know, every game should have something like that. It's so good. And it's like, oh, these things affect your weapon in a certain way. It's really good. So yeah, definitely check that out. Get the file, put it in your CompCon, and use some of those mech parts, which I am hoping to do. I'm gonna try to find something that'll fit my stream mech.
Yes.
I think you recommended the Ibutho, was it?
Yeah, dude. You have the Blackbeard, so synthetic muscle netting and the ramming ability on the Ibutho are just a nasty combo.
So definitely, I will try that out.
Ready for me.
Yeah, no, not good for you. You threw a bunch of weird stuff at us, all right? I gotta be prepared.
Yeah, you gotta punish Ramon because like the grunt assaults are pretty mean.
Just you wait for 2 elite witches.
Oh no!
Prepare to explode, fools. Did you want to fight 4 elite witches? I'm pretty sure everybody will quit.
What is a gaggle of witches called? A hag?
Coven?
What? A coven. Yeah, it's called a coven.
Oh no. Well, if you want to see us be destroyed by witches, be sure to stick around to the channel.
I do.
Okay, I want to we have more people to give shout outs to. The NPC guides for Lancer that we mentioned a few times by Celeste. I'll have links to those down there in the description as well. They're really handy for a GM who is maybe just starting out, or maybe if you want some more ideas about how to use certain archetypes in the Lancer NPC types. If you want to know how to get some effective use out of those and effective combinations. Also, shout out to the Untold Stories Project channel, where I am there every Monday at 7 p.m. playing Mutants and Masterminds. We're still, in that game, we were sort of transported into like a TV dimension, so we've been jumping between different shows. We're like a talent show, like a period piece drama, and a Star Trek-esque show where I did a terrible Scottish accent.
Ooh, I have to watch this.
So, if you want to check that out, that's also linked below. I think we will be wrapping that up the Monday of the week that this episode goes out. And then we'll be back to the regular superhero drama where I have to deal with the fallout of several things that happened a couple episodes ago. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
And I think that's it. As for our stuff, of course, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, all the YouTube things you know how to do so you get notified when we go live or when we put up new episodes. We do have regular live streams every Friday at 7, and then bonus ones when I have the time and energy to do so. I've been playing a bunch of Skyrim. Gotta get to High Hrothgar. Haven't even gotten there yet.
Going to go to that place.
So I will try not to get distracted by side quests again, or maybe just 1 or 2. Who knows how that'll go. But playlist to that is linked below as well. And I think that's everything to cover for this episode. You two have anything you want to say before we sign off?
Nah, man. Just holding you guys to your word. We have to play again. We have to play again.
Yes. Yes, we do.
We will. Yes.
Okay. Remind you, were you saying something there?
No. You can go ahead and tell the people the thing they want to hear.
Okay. The fourth most important part of the show is to remind everybody out there to keep on winning with dice, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.